Well, here to unpack the political wrangling over the fate of Obamacare and a whole lot more is our panel. Karine Jean-Pierre is the senior advisor and national spokesperson of MoveOn.org. Matt Schlapp is a Republican strategist and the chairman of the American Conservative Union. And Steve Tigueris is our CBS News senior political editor. Welcome to you all. Karine, let me begin with you. Both President Obama and Vice President-elect Pence were on the Hill fighting for and against Obamacare, respectively, but with the Republicans holding the majority in both congressional houses. Do the Democrats have a shot to save Obamacare?
I think what they have to do is really do what Senator Chuck Schumer has been saying, which is they have to resist. They absolutely must resist. And it's not surprising that President Obama was there today. It's a signature issue for him. It's covered tens of millions of people, and he's not going to stand by and allow folks to be kicked off of health care. And look, the Republicans had 6 years to try and help Democrats fix it. Absolutely. Does the health care reform Act need tweaking? Yes, but not a wrecking ball. And what they do instead, they just continue to pull up roadblocks. They wouldn't work with Democrats, and now they're put in a situation where now what are they going to do? What do they have? They have nothing. They talk about repeal, but there's nothing there.
But Karine, you feel that the Democrats should be open to replacing some of the law. It sounds like.
No, I don't. I feel like they should have fixed it. They need to fix. You can't just repeal it with nothing there. That's the problem. There was a report that came out today that showed if it is repealed, Obamacare is repealed, it would cost $350 billion over the next decade. So what is it that they're going to replace it with? That's what we want. That's what we want to hear, and that has not been presented.
Well, Matt, let me turn to you. You're a Trump supporter. Vice President-elect Pence said Wednesday that the president-elect will use a series of executive orders to target the health care law. But with Obamacare being the first item on the Republican congressional agenda, what is the strategy here behind issuing such orders?
Well, I think the White House and Republicans in Congress are having a conversation about the most effective way to repeal Obamacare. Obviously, the Republicans do not have 60 votes in the Senate, so their preferred vehicle is this budget reconciliation vehicle, which is a bunch of congressional jargon for the fact that you only have to get a majority of 51 votes to get it passed in the Senate, just as the House you only need a majority. So they're having a conversation about the best way to do it. But let me make one thing very clear. Republicans are going to repeal Obamacare. Why are they going to repeal Obamacare? Because the American people, in poll after poll after poll, it's very unpopular and they don't support it. Majorities have, from the very beginning of this law, have been against this bill. Why? Because it doesn't get to the fundamental question of making health care better or more affordable. We've had a big conversation about the best way to do health insurance, and what we're seeing is those vehicles, these companies that have to deal under Obamacare, can't make it work. So it's a failure in every way. If you want to call repealing it, fixing it, or whatever you want to call it, it has to happen immediately.
Well, Matt, on that point, repeal and replace, as you know, is practically a Republican mantra at this point. But isn't there a good chance that once the law is repealed, a replacement won't be enacted for months, affecting many Americans who need health care? How will Republicans handle that?
No, I think what is actually standard Republican orthodoxy is that when you repeal the law, you have to have an open season like we all have with when we choose health care today, which gives people a period of time to adjust to any changes in the law. So what will happen with the repeal is nobody is going to immediately lose their health insurance, but over time, they will have different types of choices. For instance, we have a one-size-fits-all insurance program now under Obamacare where we all have to have all types of medical procedures covered that we'll never entertain in our lives. And we got to go back to the idea of you being able to pick the type of health insurance coverage that you need for your life.
Steve, let me turn to you on the issue of interpreting signals here. Donald Trump, as you know, has been piling on President Obama in recent days on Twitter over the Affordable Care Act. Is this rhetoric really, when you look at it, is a departure from when the president-elect admitted that there are parts of the ACA that he's open to keeping? What do we make and how are we to interpret what are seemingly contradictory messages from what was stated not too long ago by the president-elect?
There's a lot of tea leaf reading going on here, Elaine, and It's not just us. There are Republican senators who are publicly saying we have no idea what comes next after repeal, and they've got to figure this out. And so Donald Trump, as he said shortly after the election, after meeting with President Obama the first time and sort of hearing him out on Obamacare, said, there are a couple things in there that actually, I might want to keep. One of them is the ban on insurers and the pre-existing condition situation, that they can't prevent people from getting insurance who have pre-existing conditions. And the other one is letting children stay on their parents' health care until they're 26. Those are two things that that Trump said that he'd be willing to keep in there. But now, as you read that tweet earlier, he's talking about this, let Obamacare collapse under its own weight. That sounds like maybe he's talking about repeal and delay and let Obamacare sort of fall on its own and then blame the Democrats for it and then figure out a way to replace it. We're just all sitting here trying to figure out what comes next after repeal. We do know repeal's happening. Pence said it today. Ryan said it. That's happening. The question is, what is going to happen next? We're all trying to figure it out. Republicans, keep in mind, have been trying to repeal this for 6 years, and they haven't come to a consensus on what the replacement or what comes next situation. So I guess we'll all see whether it's Trump tweeting it or folks on the Hill talking about it. We don't know yet, but we'll figure it out, I guess.